We're back with a Fox News alert. Israeli airstrikes resuming overnight. You see the smoke rising right now from Gaza as they set the stage for a Gaza without Hamas rule. Israel is arranging for a buffer zone within the Strip to protect Israelis from any future attacks. Israeli Defense Forces spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner joins us now. Colonel, thank you for being here. You know, after this pause, what does the offensive look like? I believe Hamas has effectively abandoned the north. Fighters have surely regrouped in the south. What does it look like next?
So the IDF is indeed engaging Hamas wherever there are, and I would say they are still in the north. There are still areas in the north, in Jabalia, in Sajaiya, in other places around the north that they are still operational. And indeed, we are seeking them out. And as you rightly pointed out, we're conducting airstrikes, engaging. We have, over the last 24 hours, targeted some 400 targets of Hamas, whether it be explosive devices, booby trap locations, command and control positions, staging areas where Hamas are conducting their activities. So yes, we are taking the fight back to them. The operational pause collapsed because Hamas refused to live up to their word, basically, to release the women and children, the 17 women and children that are still being held captive today. And so we are on the offensive. We're taking the fight to Hamas. Indeed, the outcome of this war needs to be two. All of our hostages are brought home, every last one of them. And second, of course, a Gaza Strip that Hamas does not govern as a staging ground for terrorism against Israel and our civilians.
Colonel, you're starting to hear, I know you don't want to get into American domestic politics, but we're starting to hear more calls for a more precise bombing, a different approach. And will you change the way you're operating in that goal of destroying Hamas? I mean, as you move into the south, where a lot of refugees have fled, how do you adapt to that?
We are very attentive to our American allies. Of course, the professional relationship between the military to military is outstanding, I would say even intimate. Of course, we are conducting our operations in order to achieve our goals in accordance to the laws of armed conflict, and indeed conducting those with a distinction between the civilian population, the non-combatants, and the terrorists, Hamas terrorists, that are hiding behind the civilians, the civilian population. What we've seen in the last 2 months now, and 2 months to the day, is a reality where Hamas have extensively, or as a concept of operation, placed their capabilities in mosques, in schools, in hospitals. These are where Hamas's locations are. This is where they're positioning themselves. And we approach these positions within the realm of the laws of armed conflict, exactly in order to minimize the civilian casualties, but to maximize the damage on Hamas as a terrorist entity, as a governing authority, and as a terrorist organization that has no regard for life, Israeli or Palestinian.
Well, no doubt. I mean, they are happy to exploit the West's way of fighting war by using civilians at every aspect. We're now hearing reports that the IDF says 6 of the hostages have died while being held captive in Gaza. How do you keep real quick, how do you keep the pressure on while also creating the incentive for Hamas to give up these hostages?
So all of the hostages were released due to one thing, due to the impending military power that we displayed and implemented in the 6 weeks prior to the operational pause. So now we are increasing the pressure. We're engaging Hamas. They know we are coming. We intend on delivering the hostages home. We intend on removing Hamas from controlling the Gaza Strip. And it's very clear that those that were released would not have been released were it not for the IDF's operational actions. This is why the pressure is increasing. This is why we are targeting Hamas. This is why we're targeting their leaders and seeking out from, I would say, from Yahya Sinwar, the mastermind of the massacre of the 7th of October, all the way down to the last terrorist, the Nukhba terrorist that came into our communities on the 7th of October. So we are seeking out the entire organization as a governing authority, as a terrorist entity, but also as the people that are holding our civilians hostage. So it goes hand in hand. Those two goals of the war go hand in hand, and we intend on implementing them both.
Yeah, we continue to pray for the hostages and I hope you kill every last one of those Hamas terrorists. Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
You got it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.